U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations meets aid workers at the Turkey border with Syria, and they tell her about what's described as life-saving assistance they are giving to people in Syria. In a few weeks, Linda Thomas-Greenfield will confront Russian resistance to renew the cross-border mechanism on the grounds that it violates Syria's sovereignty.
When I get back to New York, I will be briefing members of the Security Council on what I've seen here, and I will be appealing to my colleagues to support the continuation of this operation and to reopen the 2 other border crossings that were closed.
Bab el-Hawa is the only entry point for the UN to bring aid into the opposition-held northwest. It's also the last of 4 international crossing points that have been closed because of Russia, Syria's ally.
We need as much access as possible. In fact, what we need at the moment is more access, not less. We need to scale up the response because the aid that we're providing is simply not enough. This is, the biggest displacement crisis of the 21st century.
Nearly 4 million people live in the northwest. Many are internally displaced by the conflict. 80% rely on aid brought from Turkey. The UN currently sends more than 1,000 trucks carrying aid every month.
At the moment, the aid is not enough even for 1/4 of the population. If the UN can't use the border, there'll be a famine.
Local and international NGOs cannot fill the gap as hunger and malnutrition grow. Aid workers say the infrastructure set up in Turkey to run the operation can't be easily replaced. The UN is the largest actor in the humanitarian response.
The UN gives more than 50% of all aid. If that stops, it's a death sentence for the people.
Russia wants UN operations rerouted through Damascus, but human rights and aid groups warn against this. They accuse the Syrian government of using aid as a weapon by keeping it from its opponents and using it to benefit those who are loyal.
For months now, we have seen behind the scenes negotiations primarily between the United Nations and between Damascus to try to achieve one single cross-line delivery from Damascus to Idlib. And until now, those negotiations have led to nothing.
The Biden administration has been vocal in its criticism of how Damascus handles aid deliveries. And now, with the U.S. envoy's visit, the stage is set for what will likely be an intense period of negotiations to keep open the gates to Syria's opposition-held areas. Zana Khuder, Al Jazeera.